Hello everyone, welcome back to FPL STAR. Today I gonna discuss about rules and strategy for World Cup Fantasy 2022. Before starting, if you are new in this channel, please subscribe this channel. Now let's start. Basic rules for World Cup Fantasy is you have to pick 15 players, and this 15 player involves 2 goalkeeper, 5 defender, 5 midfielder and 3 forward option. Among these 15 player, you have 11 player to start your team and their point will be counted, and you have 100 million budget, and the link of World Cup Fantasy in the description. You can check it and go for it, play it. Now move on to the other rules, and the first rules for World Cup Fantasy is team creation, and you have to pick a team, and in group stage you can pick 3 players from a nation maximum, and in round of 16 you can pick 4 players from a nation, and quarterfinal 5 players from a team. In semi-final you can go for 6 players from a team, and in final you can go for 8 players for your team. And you have to be strategic in your planning, and the most important strategy in World Cup Fantasy is you have to pick player from big team because they will score point, and you have to target easy fixer because in easy fixer player score a lot of point, and that's helps you in your mini league and also the rank boost. And the preferred formation I prefer for World Cup Fantasy is 3-4-3 because this involves 3 forward option, and forward are the best player in World Cup Fantasy, and they are playing very well and they will give you point because they score goal, and Messi, Neymar all are in the forward category. So that's why I think preferred formation is 3-4-3. But if you go for a defensive formation, if you think that a lot of team will maintain clean sheet, then you can go for 4-3-3. But if you go for 4-3-3, you should obviously go for 3 forward, obviously, because forward I already tell that they are very good, and that's why this. Now move on to the next rules, and it's captaincy rule, and you have to pick a captain from your 11 player, and the captain point will be doubled. You can change captain unlimited time before this team play, but when team play you can change only one, so you should be careful about picking up captain, and you should captain the player who plays early because if he blank then you can change it, and you have to try at least 2 captain in your team because if one captain is blank then you can go for another captain, and that's why you should go for 2 captaincy pick for your team, and you should update with the news because in World Cup Fantasy you can change captain in every match, so that's a things is new. And you should obviously target easy fixer for your captain. Don't captain a player who have a hard fixer because he can obviously score point in hard fixer, but it's very good to go for easy fixer, and make sure your captain is a starter for this captain for this team, and that's the thing. Now move on to the other rules, and it's substitution. Your substitution player point will not be counted because your 11 player point will count, but you have 15 players, these 4 player will not counted, and if no manual substitution is made by you, then automatic substitution will happen, and you can make manual substitution during live match. This means if your player doesn't play, then you can obviously substitute him, but if he plays then you cannot substitute him. If your player already played, then you cannot substitute it from bench, but if your player playing in the starting 11, then you can substitute him from your bench who are not playing. And the strategy for substitution is you select risky player for early part of the match day, because if they are blank then you can substitute. That's why I think at first day or day 2 you can go for risky player, but after that you should in later part you should pick the best player because then you have no substitution option, and that's why you should go for it. And don't pick a sudden starter, a player injured, that's why he's starting one game. Don't pick this kind of player because then after one match day you should have transfer him out, and that's a additional transfer, so you should avoid this kind of strategy. Now move on to the other strategy, and it's booster. In World Cup Fantasy there are three booster. They are wildcard, and you cannot play wildcard in matchday 1 and in the round of 16, which is matchday 4. 12 player is a new one, and it's one additional player which will be played, and you cannot substitute him or transfer him or captain him. He is a 12 player and his point will be added, and power captain is automatically assigned captaincy. You don't have to worry about your captaincy pick if you activate your power captain, and once booster is active you cannot reverse, so think carefully before activating booster. And I think the best strategy for booster is you should play booster in the group stage, because in group stage the team will play very well and they will score goals more than knockout stage. So you should go for booster in group stage, and 12 player to target some specific fixer. So I can say that if a team has a very good fixer, then you have 3 player in this team and you want to go for 4 player, then you can go for 12 player option. And obviously a player you don't have in your team but you think that he will score a lot of point, then you can go for it for 12 player. And wildcard is in matchday 3. I think it's a very nice one, because in matchday 3 a lot of team will be qualified for knockout and there will be a lot of rotation, and that's why I think matchday 3 wildcard is a very viable option for you. And if you get confused on captaincy pick, then you can go for power captain, because it will release your tension of captaincy. Now move on to the next rules, and it's transfer. In pre-tournament, before starting you can go for unlimited transfer, but when the tournament is started, before matchday 2 you can have 2 transfer, and before matchday 3 you can have 2 transfer. After group stage there is knockout, and before knockout you can go for unlimited transfer, and before quarterfinal the transfer you can make is 4, and semi-final 5, and before final you can go for 6 transfer. And before transferring you should obviously go for sure starter player, but because they will burden your transfer pain, and you should go for all possible captaincy choice in a match day. If you think of a player in the bench to be transferred, it's not a very good option. You should go for a captaincy pick. If you don't have a captaincy pick in this particular game week, then you should go for this player because he will score more point, and that's a nice thing you should go for. And take hit when necessary. If you think that your team are not performing well and 2 or 3 players are benched or they are not playing well, they are injured, then obviously take hit and obviously plan early for your team, because it helps you to get your decision right. Now move on to the next one, and it's some transfer additional. And a group stage 1 transfer can be carried. If you have 2 transfer in group stage, but if you played 1 transfer only, then 1 transfer will be carried. But in knockout stage you have to use all your transfer and no transfer can be carried, they are burned. And if you go for an additional transfer, then 3 points will be deducted from your team, and if you make transfer then it cannot be reversed, so be careful about it. And I think in group stage there is carrying transfer, but I don't think that's a good idea. You should obviously transfer because it gives you more attacking ability to attack the fixer, so that's why I think don't carry transfer, and make a priority list for transfer, that which player you want to buy, which player you don't want to buy. You should go for a priority list, and the most priority player you should buy. And you have to have a backup plan for sudden situation, like a player in the starting, who will you replace, or a player is injured. You should go for a backup plan that the player can be substituted, and make sure your transfer as late as possible because it will gives you some time to take decision. Now move on to the next rules, and it's the scoring point. And a scoring point for all players in appearance 60 minutes plus more minute, then you get 1 point, and for assist you got 3 points. If your player pick yellow card, then -1, and if red card, then -2. If your player score 1 goal, then -2, and winning penalty give you 2 points, and conceding penalty give 1 point. And the strategy for this is you should buy attacking player because they will score goals, and that's a very good thing, and they will also give you assist. And avoid the player who are card magnet, like who are picking yellow card, like Sergio Ramos in Spain. This kind of player you should ignore. But if they have a very good aerial threat or goal ability, then you can go for it. But you generally avoid the card magnet because they will get yellow card or red card. And you should obviously avoid the mistake friendly player like Harry Maguire, who concede penalty, picking yellow card for unnecessary things, and this kind of player should be avoided. Now move on to the goalkeeper play scoring system, and the goalkeeper will be get clean sheet point if he got 70 minutes played, then he got 5 point, and first goal conceded no point deducted. But when additional goal scored, then you got -1. If your goalkeeper score goal, that gives you insane 9 point, and if keep say penalty, it's 3 point, but it's not tiebreaker. Like after the game, if the game is tied, then there is tiebreaker, and in this tiebreaker, if your player save penalty, then its point will not be counted, and every 3 save from your goalkeeper you get 1 point. And the strategy for goalkeeper's scoring system is avoid lowering team, because they will concede a lot of goal and they will cost you a lot of point, and that's why you should avoid them. And obviously go for 2 different goalkeeper, because if your goalkeeper are not playing well, they concede, you can obviously change him, and you should obviously select short stopper, because there is save point, and for every 3 save you can got 1 point. Even if your goalkeeper conceded goal but he saved a lot, like 9 shot, then you can go for 3 points, and that's why you should go for short stopper goalkeeper. And you obviously go for a good penalty saver goalkeeper like Emi Martinez. He's a very good penalty saver. He saves a lot of penalty, so I think you should obviously go for him. Now move on to the defender scoring system, and it's for clean sheet you get 5 point, and it will give after 60 minutes played. For first goal conceded, like goalkeeper, you got 0 point, but each additional goal conceded you get -1, and if a defender score a goal, then you get 7 point. And you should obviously select wing back for it, because wing back are most attacking and they have very good chance to score goal, and prefer left back or right back of before center back. But if the center back is tall and you think he has aerial threat, then score goal from corner or set pitch, then obviously go for him. And avoid weight team defender, because they will concede and you get deducted, your point will be deducted for each goal conceded. Now move on to the midfield scoring strategy, and midfielder get clean sheet for 60 minutes or plus and just 1 point, and if midfielder scored, then got 5 point, and for every tackle he got 1 point for you, and every key pass you got every 2 key pass you got 1 point. The strategy for midfielder is you should select creative attacking midfielder, because creative attacking midfielder will give you scoring point, also give you key pass. That's why you should go for it, and they are not picking up a yellow card like defensive midfielder. And if any winger in midfield category is there, you should go for it. But in World Cup Fantasy, the winger are mostly in the forward option, so if any winger in the midfielder option, you can go for it. And avoid defensive midfielder because of their card magnet nature, and also I think they are not good for scoring goal, and that's why you should avoid it. But they can give you point for every 3 tackle, but when there is tackle, there can be yellow card, so you should obviously keep an eye on it. And obviously pick the main man from the team, because he's the main man and he can be a penalty taker, also be the most creative player in the team, so you should go for him. Now move on to the scoring system for forward, and if a forward score a goal, he got 5 point, and every 2 shot you got 1 point. And the strategy for forward option is you should go for a forward who have easy fixture, because in World Cup Fantasy a lot of forward, so you should obviously go for a forward who has easy fixture, because he will give you point. And also go for the penalty taker forward, because he has the penalty taken and score goal. And go for selfish player, like who shoots a lot, don't pass. This type of player is very good for fantasy, and you should go for a forward who you can captain, because Forward are a lot of attacking ability and they have the most chance to score points, so obviously you should go for a player, you should go for a forward who have very good captaincy shout, and you should make most transfer in the forward slot because it helps you to go for easy fixer and attacking the fixer. Now the additional transfer is additional rules is you should obviously subscribe FPL STAR for World Cup Fantasy rules or other things like my team selection, and you should go for join the mini leagues, and link in the description, and obviously follow me in Twitter, and the Twitter link is also in the description. The strategy in this type is you should stay tuned with the FPL STAR because I will give you the news and also very information about the players of different nation. And if you have any confusion regarding any rules, let me know through the comment box, and enjoy World Cup Fantasy 2022 and obviously enjoy World Cup. And that's all. If you are new in this channel, please subscribe this channel, and good luck for your team.